Algebra 1 Lesson 52, we are looking at figuring out the equation of a line if we are just given 2 points. So, we're going to be using a lot of different formulas today for this, but first let's make sure that we can graph our lines just given a slope and a point on the line. Normally when we do this, we are given the slope and like the y-intercept, and we always start with the y-intercept and use the slope. In this case, we're going to do something similar, but instead of the y-intercept, we will start with the point given. So, we will start at 3, 5. So we plot 3 on the x, up 5 on the y. We end up right there. And then we look at our slope. Well, if we're thinking about a slope of 4 as rise over run, that means we have a rise of 4 and a run of 1. So we go up 4 and right 1. But I'm kind of out of space, so I'm going to do just the opposite. Well, the opposite of going up, we're going down 4, and instead of going right, we're going to go left. It's like a double negative, so we can go down 4 and left once. Down 4 and left once. And we end up, that was only 3, here's my 4, and here is my line. So we always start with the point that's given, and then we use the slope to continue on. So here's another example. You're given a slope of 2 and a point of 3/4, so we start with 3 up 4, and then our slope is up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. Okay, and we get our line. We always want to put a few points on the line so that we can see what the direction looks like, how steep it is. We always put arrows on the end of our lines as well. Shows that it continues on forever and ever. Next, slope of 0 and a point of 2, 3. Once again, let's start with that 2, 3, and then let's think of our slope. If we have a slope of 0, we could also show that as 0 over 1. So our rise is 0, but our run is 1. So I don't go up any, but I go over 1, over 1, over 1, all the way. Or I could go the other way. Slope of 0 just means that we have a horizontal line. That's what it ends up. Slope of 0 is horizontal line. Slope undefined, that would be a vertical line. So here's another slope of 0, point of -1, 4. So we would be here, and we would have all of these points along here, which means we have a horizontal line. Okay. We have talked about other forms of our lines before, things like our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, or our standard form, ax plus by equals c. Well, we have one more form. It's called point-slope form, because we use a slope and we use our point on the line to plug it into this equation. And we say it's y minus y1, which is the y-coordinate in our point, equals m, our slope, times the quantity x minus x1. Once we plug everything in, the y and the x will stay as our variables because we will be able to plug those in to find all of the different points on our line. But let's try it. So write the equation using a slope of 3 and a line that goes through points 2, 4. So first I'm going to label my point and say this is x1 and this is y1. So when I plug them in, this is what I will see. I will say, okay, my y1 is going to go here, so y minus 4, x1 going to go inside here, and then my slope of 3 is going to go on the outside of my parentheses. So as it is right now, y minus 4 equals 3 times the quantity x minus 2. This is in point-slope form. But this is not the easiest form for a lot of different things like graphing and using a graphing calculator. So we need to get it into slope-intercept form, meaning we are going to get y by itself. But first we need to distribute, so 3 times x, 3 times -2, and we will add 4 to each side so that we get that our equation is y equals 3x minus 2, meaning that our slope is still 3, but our y-intercept is -2. Much easier to graph. Now, that's if we were given the slope. If we're just given 2 points, we're still going to use this formula, but we first have to find the slope. And remember, finding the slope between 2 points, we're going to use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then we can plug in the slope in either of the points and solve to find what y equals. So let's try this. We have points 1, negative 3, and 4, 5. So we're going to find the slope by saying m is equal to, if we have x1 and y1, x2 and y2, we say y2 minus y1, so 5 minus a negative 3, and x2 minus x1, 4 minus 1, which means, okay, double negatives give me 8 over 3. So our slope is 8 over 3. And we're going to plug it in with one of the points into our equation so that we have y minus, let's see, I'll pick the 1, negative 3. So I say y minus negative 3 is equal to 8 over 3 times x minus 1. And then I can start simplifying. Double negatives here, so we get y plus 3, and then I'm going to expand to get 8 thirds x minus 8 thirds. And the last step will be subtracting 3 from each side. But I need common denominators, which means that I have y is equal to 8 thirds x, and my 3 is really 9 over 3, negative 9 over 3, so I have negative 8 over 3 minus 9 over 3, which gives me a negative 17 over 3. Now remember, you could have chosen either of the points, which I believe I have the other point listed here, yep, plugging in 5 and 4, yet we still get the same exact equation. Let's try it again. Write the equation using a slope of negative 3 and the point to negative 7. So we plug it in to say y minus a negative 7 equals negative 3 times x minus 2. We can get y plus 7 on the left side and negative 3x plus 6, double negatives there. And we subtract 7 to get y is equal to negative 3x minus 1. Okay. And then the second one on this page, let's find the slope and plug it in. So we do our slope by doing y2 minus y1, so 6 minus a negative 2, over x2 minus x1, so negative 5 minus 15. And we're going to add these together, so we get 8 over a negative 20. Which we can simplify, divide each of these by 4, and get negative 2 over 5. Well, we'll plug this in to say, and let's say I pick this point, y minus 6 is equal to negative 2 fifths times x minus a negative 5, so plus 5. So we have y minus 6 is equal to negative 2 thirds x, I'm going to expand, plus, oops, sorry, that's negative 2 fifths x, plus, if I do negative 2 fifths times 5, I'll get plus a negative 2. And then I add 6 to each side, and I get y is equal to negative 2 fifths x plus 4. And that's going to be our equation. Slope of negative 2 fifths and a y-intercept of 4. I'll just do a couple more examples here. So Crispy Chicken is selling cheeseburgers. He sells one for $5 and two for $8. What will he charge for 5 burgers if he keeps selling at the same rate? So we are actually given 2 points, so we need to find the slope, write the equation, and use the equation to estimate 5 burgers. So to find the slope, we're going to do y2 minus y1, so 8 minus 5 over 2 minus 1. So we get 3 over 1, which is just 3. We plug it into the equation to say y, I'll use the first equation, y minus 5 is equal to 3 times x minus 1. Expand, and we get y minus 5 is equal to 3x minus 3. Add 5, and we get y equals 3x plus 2. Now to estimate 5 burgers, well, we are saying if y is the total amount, okay, then x is how many burgers, just like x is 1 burger, so it costs $5. X is 2 burgers, so it costs Y $8. So we say Y is equal to 3 times 5 plus 2. So it's going to cost us $17. Okay, and let's see. Another one, Pete sells frozen lemonade at a community baseball game. He sells 1 cup for $3, 2 cups for $5. What will Pete charge for 6 cups if he keeps it the same? So we have our points, 1, 3, so 1 cup is $3 and 2 cups is $5, which means our slope is 5 minus 3 over 2 minus 1, or just 2. And we plug it in to say y minus 3 is equal to 2 times the quantity x minus 1. We expand and we add 3, so 2x minus 2, add 3, and we have y equals 2x plus 1. Which means if we want 6 cups, we're going to say y is equal to 2 times 6 plus 1, which equals $13. So 6 cups will be $13. Here's one more example for you to try out. Just think about those 2 points that you'll have, create the equation, and plug in your remaining amount. Well, I hope this is helpful for your homework and for studying.